backstage and not be part of the herd. And some cash, you know what I mean? And
Oh,
that'll
yeah.
come. There's all kinds of ancillary shit that
Kitty
you get into.
litter.
And I got a million ideas for t-shirts. So,
Me too.
and
We
so
need to
that's
get a
the thing.
print press. But my friend Casey has it, so we could use her to do it.
Well, something too, we need to learn how.
Talk to Casey.
And somebody that had
Shout
one
out
of
to
those
Casey.
3D printers
Hey,
could
Casey's
do it.
Creations.
We
We
need to
Tank
make.
Wednesdays.
Oh,
Keep going, keep going.
your son's father might know a whole lot about this. Not
This
saying
fool can
involving.
suck a dick.
Okay, but if we had a stencil
Excuse me.
and some paint and a brush,
Yeah.
there's no reason that any pretty
Guess who
jacket
knows
we
how to do
get
that
couldn't
shit?
say Supreme.
I at least
Or
fucking
we could
did
make
that
it our
shit.
own.
Uh-huh.
Mupreme. Something stupid.
Oh my gosh. Guess what? On the news, it said that they busted some shipment from like China or so whatever of counterfeit Jordans, like $2.1 million worth of counterfeit Jordans. And they show the Jordans on the screen, and let me tell you, I was like, if you fucking buy those, like, you're out of your mind. I didn't say fucking because my dad was there, but I was like, if you bought those, like...
They weren't... No.
I'm like, who's buying
They're
that?
knockoffs,
Yeah, like, they're straight up knockoffs. And, like, if you want to buy that, like,
they
go
don't even
ahead.
make a pretense. Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't understand necessarily, like, who's that going to, because it's all about the hype, and that looks like shit. I was like, the arrow don't even, I was like, the check mark isn't even in the same position. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to let it go. You know why? Because that shit got seized, so fuck it. But I was like,
that would make a good segment.
You know, we have like fake Coach purses and shit like that. I'm not against anything like that, but those.
But make
Jordans,
a pretense of fucking trying to do it.
Thank you. I'm not like, put some fucking effort in there, man. Like, those Jordans look like absolute shit.
Well, these are $5 knockoffs. These aren't the $10 knockoffs.
Right. I was like, what the fuck? Who's buying these? I was like, come on. Even Shaq has the better ones at Walmart. You know? He's got Walmart unlocked Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
So Michael Jordan's got all the Air Jordans, whatever, but Shaq stays in Walmart. So all the parents who can't afford and buy those Jordans, they be buying them Shaq at the fucking Walmart. And when you see that child in there, unfortunately, you know, like, they probably middle class. But you don't hate because you're like, still fly though.
Right.
You're like, it just still looks good, like, what? But it's not, you know, whatever.
Did you ever see, Grace always hated it, they would have videos of what they called wall Martians. People that go to Walmart and they just dress anyway, like with pajamas.
Yes.
And Grace always hated that. But you know, Grace, they're pictures of people. Now, me, I don't look at them because it makes me uncomfortable. But I'm going to get out of that.
But, like, the only reason why, not only reason, I'm fucked up as a person, but, like, when it comes to comedy, at least. Right. But, like, my mom would have us, like, go to the mall when I was younger, like 12, 13, and we would just, like, eat food, and then I'd have to, like, sit there till she was done or something, and we would just people watch. Like, we wouldn't even talk or anything. We're just sitting there, like, and then if we did talk, it would be like, mira ella, which means look at her in Spanish. So then, you know, you're just like, and then you're like,
Can you remember any particular thoughts that went through your head?
That bitch over there.
Like that, I guess.
Oh, man, like, and obviously times were different back then. And I don't really make fun of fat people now, but damn. Back then, my dad used to make fun of...
That's a period you go through.
All the time. It was in the 90s, okay? Late 90s, early 2000s. Like, get over it. But he would be like, oh, you see that big old one over there? I can't remember any of the jokes, so I don't want to say anything that's, like, connotative about it or whatever.
But people have...
But he would make jokes about people, like, on the sidewalk. And so that's how I think I was, like, able to learn how to be like quick on my feet, because I would want to see, because then he would say stuff, and then I would want to say stuff that was funny.
Right.
And that's why sometimes I used to get so pissed off when he would say like, you're trying to be the center of attention at an adult party. But I'm like, you bring me in on your jokes. Like say he had a party at his house, right? And like his people like come. It's like we were good at tag teaming with jokes. So like I'd be like, yeah, Jimmy, you see the way he's sitting there smoking that cigarette? Like, whatever. And then my dad would be like, yeah, you don't even know how to hold it right. It's just sitting there all flimsy, like, blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, I can't believe that you know, just like keep like cutting you up.
But
like,
with
it's
more to it because there's a contact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's like, then I would be like telling my own jokes or whatever, because it's like, you know, the grasshopper, and then like teaches the teacher at some point.
Right, grasshopper.
Yeah, but I'm like, instead of embracing it, like, it was more like, oh, I was taking attention away from him.
Now, were other people around?
Yeah, like I would be, yeah, like
party,
no,
but it was you and he.
Yeah, but it was like his friends too.
Right. But could they hear the things you were saying?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be saying like anything inappropriate or stuff like that, but I would like roast some of these dudes and say like some jokes or whatever, and then it was like he didn't. It's not like he disapproved. He just didn't like.
Maybe it was touching a soft spot because it was his friends. Hold on, let me get like something attention. While you're doing that.
And so, basically.
Keep going, I can hear you. You might have to add 1 decibel.
But basically, it's like, I feel I started to get better at my comedy, and he kind of like would be mad that like my jokes would kill or whatever, like, and so one time at like a Thanksgiving, I was normally don't really say jokes around them and mess with and socialize, you would say, because he always ends up getting mad or something, like, and it's not like I took it too far. It's just like I out roasted you and you're like upset.
Grasshopper, you must be stumped.
And so
yeah,
one time at a Thanksgiving, I had said something and he tried to like cut low, and I'm like, you only have to say that because you know that my jokes are getting better, and that's what you have to do for comebacks. And then it was kind of like, Kat, we're just gonna eat dinner, blah, 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 blah. Because, yeah, I don't know what I was saying. And so I'm like, see, like, you're just upset. Instead of embracing it and still, like, tag teaming mofos, you're all there getting upset because my jokes are killing. Like, come on now. So... And sometimes I would like try and toss him jokes, but the thing for me is like, I don't like roasting and roasting somebody and then like telling a joke at somebody else's
seeing what people left behind in the
expense.
attic.
Well, saving on homeowners insurance with Geico's help was pretty fun too.
I don't like. Like, I don't need to put you down in my joke. Like, oh, Jimmy, you're so fucking stupid. Like, blah, 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 to be funny. Like, that to me is fucked up. Like, you can't tell a fucking joke. You can't tell some sort of joke, even that involves Jimmy, but doesn't put him down. Wouldn't make him, like, feel bad.
Right.
In the joke, like, I kind of learned that some of the stuff is like I would say crossing the line. And it's not even like crossing the line in the aspect of like, I just think you could do a better joke.
Right, I see
Like,
kind, but keep going.
it's kind of like lazy.
Right.
Like, if I'm telling a joke about you and it's like, oh, look at your dumb fucking hair or something like that, like, you could tell a joke and tell it completely different. Just like when you talk to people, like, you could say things a certain way and it could come off completely different, but you're getting the same point across. Like, you could tell a joke in a different way that doesn't put the person down and also gets your joke across, if that's the case. But like I said, personally, I feel like shit like that is just kind of like lazy. If you're roasting them, that's also different than just one fucking joke.
The difference
That's fucked
is,
up.
as
You know what I'm
opposed,
saying? Like,
it's like when they do the roast, like the Dean Martin roast. They're
Mhm.
not there to hurt him,
Right.
the person, but they are there to embarrass. Isn't the word? But there's something there that we
It's
can't
kind of like
articulate.
this. It's like when guys would be like, sup, douchebag, and then, or like, girls are like, sup, bitch, and then if I were to be like, yo, what up, bitch, you'd be like, excuse me? Or someone was like, sup, douchebag, you'd be like,
Right.
say that one more time.
If they weren't
part of like your crew or your circle, whatever.
But you're talking about within that, not reaching up to the bar to make it funny, as
Right.
opposed to maybe acting from a hurt feeling, which doesn't allow you to think, because humor is something that sits outside and you kind of got to get it in for the thing to be funny.
Right.
You know,
So,
as opposed to the remark you're talking about is something from a hurt place that isn't kind of to be funny. I don't want to say that it has to be disinterested, but it has to be. You can't. It's hard to be funny with hurt feelings.
yeah, that's how I get
So, so that particular comment, you had reached, you had plucked a nerve, and then the comeback was about that, as opposed to being funny and just answering in a funny way.
Right, instead of just like keeping it
I'm
going.
hurt. I'm hurting you now.
Yeah,
as opposed to I laughed.
Or it'll be like, say you and I are like, we link up here and we're like, you know, we smoke our J's and then we're like, all right, well, let's go out to this party or whatever, right? Or somewhere that's like sociable, not a club or something.
Right.
And then there's other people there, and if I wanted to try and be, you know, funny and say, you know, insert myself into the group, you would say, that's there, I'm not going to put my friend down just to be funny in front of some other motherfuckers.
Right, unless you had discussed that first and you haven't now.
Well,
because,
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if
see,
that's
because
between
you can
you
make
and them, but I'm like, I wouldn't fucking do it. I'm like, that's not how I roll. I'm like,
you don't know how we're gonna roll yet, because this is the start. We're gonna do a lot of shit before it's all over.
I just feel like and for me personally, it's like, it's the same thing. I would just, you make sure it's funny, and most of the time it would either be about myself or it's going to be something that's funny.
Rather than react from a hurt place, just don't say anything, maybe.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you're socializing.
Right.
Like, if you're just socializing.
I can see a situation and where you say to me or I say to you before we go in, Kat, act like you don't like me. And see how the different people react to that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only here.
Nobody's ever done that. So I would never thought of that. So okay, Jimmy.
But
we rolling with a different.
We don't know what
that's brand new to me.
Yeah, we don't know what we're gonna do.
No offense, friends, whoever the fuck watches this, but I'm like, no one's ever like played pretend Everybody just like goes in, whatever.
It's all pretend.
And everybody knows that cat talk shit and that sometimes I'm funny, whatever the fuck. So most of the time I feel like if I'm gonna go into a new social situation, I would like make fun of a table or something. Like I would say
Make fun of their taste.
Yeah, like anything. Like what the fuck is this? Like okay, like you popping in here, like something. You know, like I would make it
The
fun.
70s called. They like their shit back.
Hey, that would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
And I would
okay.
be like, oh, Jimmy, that's funny as
Right.
fuck. There, look, I just uplifted you. They're laughing. And I even gave you the attention. Like, I just want, like, people to laugh and be funny. I don't think you would need to put some people down. And that's why sometimes that separates, like, people who try to be funny and I think people who are funny, because sometimes people who try to be funny will tell a joke at your expense to be funny in front of other people.
Right.
And really it ends up like hurting your friendship or something because you're like,
Right.
all right, well, that wasn't fucked up. Now everybody thinks that you're the dude that shits on the floor. Or, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
exactly. Yes,
something
exactly.
like that. And you're like...
See, but you're talking about the ideal world we're trying to create. And I appreciate that.
So that's why I'm like, if I ever, like, always bring... And I'm sure anybody could testify who was ever in my car, a passenger, whatever... that I always try to uplift and make it like we're all cool versus like, oh, I'm gonna be the coolest one in the bunch.
Right.
Who's the new one here? Like, who gives a fuck about that? I just don't want any problems. So, if
it's
we
that
can
thing
just...
where you find out something first and then you hold it over everybody like you're smarter just because you found it out first,
Right.
as opposed to sharing it.
Thank you.
So that we can all enjoy it. It's a power, the power thing.
It's a power thing, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about power like that, as long as it's on my court.
As long as the walls are full of electricity, I'm happy.
Yes, and as long as you know my team got it. Otherwise, yeah, we gon'.
But no.
But how is work? How is work?
It always is. They've got a new girl there now to do all the work. She's a young black girl. She listens to Whitney and everything. So it's really, I'll tell you, I didn't realize how good work music Whitney was.
Oh,
Yeah. She'll make you forget you're working.
Woo, I want to feel the heat from somebody. Yeah.
Those are well-written songs.
I was on Twitter and they were like, would you live in this house if you couldn't listen to rap music? And I was like, well, yeah, because rap is a genre inside hip-hop, so there's a lot of different music that I could listen to. Plus, you could just start singing it.
Right. Or it's like
how I just a cappella. I'm like, if you were just all like, what's some fucking song I should think of, guys? And the money when I pop paper bag, boy, and go and get your money, little paper bag, boy. Like, if I want to do that, that's not listening to the music. Semantics, people.
It's like
the world was based upon semantics. That's why the English language was invented.
Signs and symbols.
Because if you use specific words, they mean specific things. And if you want to do that whole universe shit, when you're doing that, specific words will apply to specific things when you're like, speak it into existence. Exactly, because the words matter. But if you take that into, one more time, take it. But if you take it down to a basic sense, first, it was built to confuse, it was built to manipulate, and it was built to withhold power.
Right.
This fucking English language. So it's like, semantics matter, and sometimes it stinks, Like, for the longest time, I'd be like, oh, fucking semantics. And it's like, I still do, just like with money. Like, I fucking hate money. But, like, we have to have money to survive and keep shit going in the world. That's just the way it is.
A necessary evil.
Yes, exactly. So, it's like, okay. Damn, that one was pretty good.
Semantics. Semantics.
Thank you. See? Fuck yeah, that's right, Jimmy's.
There was a guy in the Bible that made a deal
Yeah.
with his father for the daughter to be his wife. So he worked 7 years.
Oh, shit.
And so the 7 years were up and he went to claim his bride and he gave him the wrong daughter. Because of semantics. He didn't specify in the contract, I guess, what daughter.
Exactly.
And so then he worked 7 more years to get the daughter he wanted. Well, now, see, me, I'd have just been satisfied with the first one.
Right.
And I'm not worried. I'm going to take 7 years and do something else. But he loved her.
I'm going to take 7 years to go get a dog.
Yeah, it's like, I got a wife, now I need another cat.
But it's true. So when it was on Twitter, I was like, heck yes, I could do that, because then I could be just sitting here like no Vaseline. And I'm just saying, like,
all right, back, keep going. I got a guy I want to listen to real quick. You'll get
isn't listening, so therefore I could do that. So yeah, I'll live in a house. Go ahead. I'd print out the lyrics to all the rap songs that I'd want to. You can have whatever you like. Yeah, cash on deck, Patron on ice. Need your hot body on. Like I said, print out the lyrics, but I could get it popping, and then you could get like drums, and you could have like people. I could get so around this. If there's I don't know what type of job it would be, but basically, I think I'm a great semantics finagler. Like, if you got a problem, come to me. Lay it all out, all the facts, like a lawyer. You gotta tell me everything, cone of silence. And then I look at the stipulations and whatever the facts. And then I figure, okay, so this is what we finna do. And whatever it is, I'll figure a way to get what is necessary. Now, what type of job is that? What's that called? A guidance counselor? A life coach? I don't want to say a lawyer because I want to get to you before you need a lawyer. That's like, some of these people are like, oh my gosh. I was watching this one podcast called like State of the Culture, I think, and they had this prosecutor on there, or lawyer or whatever, and she was like telling them what to do once you've gotten caught. And then Remy Ma, who is a female rapper / artist, and she goes, why are you telling these people how to snitch, how to legally snitch? And then she's like, well, they need to know how to get out of the trouble. And she's like, no, like, do not do shit. Don't go down the road in the fucking first place. It's unnecessary anymore. Like, don't fucking do it. Now, if you fucking choose to do that shit, and this is me, not her, but if you fucking choose to do that shit, then you gotta ride that shit out. Like, you can't go around saying, like, and then, in my opinion, don't ever do shit in threes. Always do it in singles.
Shit happens in threes.
Because but the thing is, if you are doing crime with three people, two could gang up and flip on you. So you wouldn't want to do that. So if anything, it's always two people. So it's you versus him, if anything. And if he tries to say and flip on you, you just call him the snitch and say that, of course he would say that because he's the one who did it. I'm not worried. I'm not stressed because I didn't do shit.
Right.
He talked first because he's the one who did it.
Well,
hello?
That's what they usually do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, flip the script because you both did the shit. So you either both shut the fuck up. Man, let me think. The second, it's either the third or the second before last time I had gotten arrested. Sorry. Just sounded
no, gosh.
I mean, I think it was like 7 times, so it'd probably be like the the 4th or 5th time. But I walked in there and sat down, and then he's like, so I mean, they had already read us our rights, but like sometimes they'll like retell you, you have the right to remain, whatever, and you don't have to talk to me, blah 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 blah. And I go, everything was mine. Everything was mine, including the gun. So, other than that,
the gun.
Yeah, that was the time that I got caught with the gun. But I was like,
well, you have got me. The closest I ever.
I had unfortunately, at that moment in time in my life, pre-Ryu, I had the 22 Beretta. I had a switchblade, which technically you're not supposed to have, but I look white to these people, and I'm not. But they think I get treated that way, and I know that. So if anything, I try and help people out while I'm in there or something. Here's an extra orange. But, and then I had brass knuckles. I had a bunch of antibiotics, but they had to test them. It looked funny. I was like, oh yeah, it's like amoxicillin or something. And then I had a grinder, and then my pipe and the bud. So, yeah, that was fun. But I walked in there. He said, you can tell me what happened, write it down, blah, 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 blah. And I just said, everything in the vehicle is mine, including the firearm. I don't know why you keep thinking that it's his. It's fucking mine. And then, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. So what do I have to sign? And then I was just like, everything is mine, including the firearm, and that is all. And so check this out.
Stop for the moment?
Yeah.
Listen to this guy. This isn't one of the better ones.
And I'm just rambling, so whatever. But that was basically the end anyway.
This is not one
I
of the
need
better
dental
ones.
implants.
Okay, so I got 2 messages from...
Did Illuminati kill Alexis Arquette for outing Will and Jada?
Many videos.
Right. I get it. I get it.
the transgender actor Alexis Arquette. And what I didn't know, so this is kind of interesting to me, is that Alexis Arquette is the brother of David Arquette, the comedian, Patricia Arquette, and Roseanne.
I thought Alexis Arquette was a woman.
Actresses in a lot of movies.
He said it was his sister.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he said it was his brother.
The TV show where she was a psychic. And so I found that very interesting. These people are all connected in some way. These families of performers, all of them get access to this person I covered before because of his accusations about Will and Jada Smith. So Will and Jada Smith, or
It's
Jada
the
Smith,
brother that went
was
like a
boycotting
woman.
the Oscars because
Oh,
she
this
felt
guy,
it was
yeah, Alexis. Okay.
And Alexis Arquette said this.
It's amazing when
When
you get
Jada
into it,
comes
the
out as gay,
sacrifices
her
and stuff.
weird
But
husband
yes,
admits his
please.
first marriage ended when she walked into him servicing sugar daddy Benny Medina. Then I will listen to them. Will threw a fit on the set of 6 Degrees of Separation when he was required by the scene to kiss Anthony Rapp. He persuaded the director to shoot the back of his head in frame, blocking the non-existent lip lock entirely. Gays have enemies. They lurk in gilded closets. Outing is healthy. You are either with us or against us. So here's a few things that are interesting about this.
But go ahead. He
Okay.
he has
So,
funny ones.
I feel like I've heard him before because I go down those rabbit holes as well.
Yes,
So,
thank
like,
you, the
for
rabbit
me,
hole.
it's like, it's not the Illuminati, it's like the elite, rather, I think is better term. Only because, but now even that term is turning into, like, whatever the fuck. But, there's people who have so much fucking money that are technically in control of, in the grand scheme of things, because of the corporations and shit that they own and stuff like that, like in the trades that they do with the people. And
how do you tell who is a front?
Like, to me, it's like, yeah, if you're fucking outing people and shit like that, and I want you fucking gone, like, people can do that now.
Would you like a chocolate shake?
What?
Would you like a chocolate shake?
Sure.
All right.
Like when? Right now?
Right now? We'll go to
Alright.
Wawa.
Okay.
You drive?
Sure.
All right, sounds good. And then I'll grab a
Cut
shower when we
this.
get back. And then, like I said, I'm just sitting around, so please.
No, but it's dope because you kept me out on the cement. Like, that's the shit that I need. And I
know,
was
it's
saying
because
that in the first one, and so I'm really pissed that that one didn't get saved, because it would have been cool to see all the shit that I said about having, like, you there and stuff like that, and then having this one, and it being reflected that...
Right.
Not that I was just right, but just that, yeah, I do better when I have somebody to feed off
Yeah,
of.
that's
And
the
that's
nature of
in
it.
a
And that's why I'm
positive way.
enjoying my role. So I'll go. You can shut your stuff down.